Okay, here's some things I'm getting from your tweets. I'll just read what I'm gleaning here. Anna contacted many people this week with her posts on she puts comments on YouTube movies. Other people's YouTube movies. And she got in touch with lots of people last week that way. And Nell's removing some trauma. Barb is trying for a relationship. One thing that Barb says is, I'm into loving God, and that's a big accomplishment to me. I mean, because that's been, you know, a big one for me. Now here's something Greg wrote that's of interest. See, Greg is like realizing his father's been passive-aggressive, which he may have already known, but obviously he's accomplishing something with it. And he's curing his behavior, his passive-aggressive behavior. Ross's fourth biggest accomplishment is seeing my family and Rob's family as just one. And that is, you know, in going through Rob's death, I would say is an accomplishment of a lifetime. What you, Ross, what you have done in this last week is the accomplishment of a lifetime, I would say.
Yeah.
And also, congratulations on the new baby coming into your family with your new grandchild. That's fantastic. Okay? It's great.
I think she's very lazy because she doesn't want to come out. We're waiting. She has already a name, Gaia, but very lazy girl.
She's hanging out with Robbie for a while.
Yes.
Maybe she's hanging out with Robbie for a while.
You know, I was there when Franny, when you made the travel plans with Greg, and I would say that was a very big accomplishment because I did watch you go through the procrastination, hemming, hawing, and so on. And I think it was a huge accomplishment for Greg and for you, for the two of you as a team. And also, Anna says that she got off to a good start with retirement this week. And I would say that's true because, Anna, because, you know, a lot of people when they retire fall on their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And you did not fall on your face. You jumped right into contacting people about, you know, the Cure Drive. And you just kept at it. And you've been at it all week ever since.
It was a very positive shift for me and for Jesse.
Yeah, like you do it every day. Like, see, that's what, you know, there's this movie by Colin Powell. The title is Kids Need Structure.
Mm-hmm.
And you've given yourself structure already. Because you know that you have things that you do every day that are surefire, contacting people, telling them about the Cure Drive. And you can do them whenever you want. They're very convenient. It's easy to do them. You can do them while you're eating, or you know, walking through a store or whatever, and you just keep at it. And you've also continued to learn because you've been listening to these movies I post, yes?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you've continued learning because you're using my Facebook wall now,
Right. Uh-huh.
taking the things I put on my Facebook wall.
Right, I check it now.
And
Yeah, I
And
like
Bart-
the talk by Jim Collins.
yes,
Very good.
yes. Oh, you did listen to that.
Yeah.
And see, and of course, what he was saying is you've got to be a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Right.
Or no, oh, you listen to the Jim Collins talk. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the Peters talk. Did you
Oh,
listen?
okay.
Did you listen to that one?
Yeah, I did.
And remember where he said you've got to be a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
what does he mean by a salesman?
Well, he was saying everybody should be a salesman, and well, being able to express yourself well, and well, in our case, to spread the cure idea. But you know, it's also making people feel comfortable with you and contributing something.
Salesmen are contributors.
Yeah.
Salesmen are people who leap to be there for you, who care about you. And the best salesmen don't need the money. They're so good that they made all the money they could ever use. You know, I was listening to a talk by Warren Buffett, and I'll tell you what he said. He has like around 36 people who work for him. And he said that his major job is to keep people motivated when they're multi-millionaires and they absolutely do not need money. These guys that work for him, they've all like made their fortunes already, like working for him. You know, they're like worth like, you know, 50 million bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that his job is to keep them inspired when money is irrelevant to them at this point. So the best salesmen, that's who the best salesmen are. They're people who don't need the money, they made the money, but you know, there was the one Malcolm Gladwell interviewed. I was listening to Malcolm Gladwell, and he was writing about salesmen. You know, because those are the people. By the way, if you're eating, please go on mute. Everybody who's eating, go on mute. Thanks. Malcolm Gladwell was saying that this salesman, he said, like he worked like 10-hour days, and he said he didn't need the money because he was already a millionaire, but he had all these clients who were depending on him, so he had to keep going.
Yeah.
So and he only had, he had the same clients for many years. The salesmen are like that. You know, the most successful salesman was a very close friend of mine named, and I can't find him anymore. His name was T. Richard Nestor. And he only had one client. And he worked with this client for years and years. And he loved these guys. It wasn't just one guy, it was a company, you know. And he finally moved to Texas to be with them. And you know what he sold? He sold decals.
Oh.
You know what decals are, right?
Let me know.
Decals are these little things that you stick on things. They're like bumper stickers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's what he sold. And his client was Texaco.
Okay, yeah.
His client was Texaco. So, and he made several $1 million a year doing that.
Gosh.
And another thing you said was an accomplishment was that you retired from education. And that is an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. I made it through.
Barb says she walked through hell a few times this week, cured unreal expectations, and connected with loved ones is an accomplishment. So, the reason I had, now, what did you guys learn from doing this? Let's call on you, Anna, first, since you're up on the screen.
All right. That I had a lot more to say than I realized. There were some good things to recount about this week that I hadn't thought of necessarily.
Okay.
So, yeah.
One thing that I learned about you is that you have big accomplishments that you simply don't say anything about. So nobody knows they're happening. And just so we all understand, we are role models for each other. And so, Greg, when you were talking about realizing how your father attacks you,
Yes.
well, see, you're a role model for everybody here. And I know that when people read that, they're going to think, oh my God, wait a minute. You know, how do I react when somebody attacks me? Like, because that's what you were talking about. You were talking about your behaviors that were generated, you know, when you incompletely dealt with your father's passive-aggressive attacks on you.
And yeah, that I had the same behavior. I mimicked him in order to be with him. I kind of become like him.
I get it, you know.
Which is, I think people find in a lot of relationships, and maybe they don't like who they're becoming, so they, rather than be themselves in the relationship and see where you're distinct, or where you have different ways, you know, they say, oh gosh, that's a terrible relationship, I gotta pull back from it.
Well, what did you learn from doing these tweets?
It's easy to tweet, and good for me, good for other people. I mean, I learned how that it's not a big burden. It's easy.
Well, I'll tell you something I learned from one of your tweets. Here you wrote, many people stop just as they're getting a signal.
That's something I wanted to report to all of us here, that I've seen in so many cases. You know, you can't talk, you have to just keep asking the test. You can't start into, okay, now let's talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you
Right up
what.
against it.
See, actually, when they've experienced it or even seen what it is, you can't. It just is a matter of what you say.
Yeah, and that's actually what I have, I gotta say that's what I have done, because then I still don't describe them, but I talk about that thing that they were touching on. They don't want to cross into, yes, I'm experiencing this, and this is great. They just go, oh, I see it. Okay. I'll just stay right here.
Well, you see, you know, it's that old 1 in 10, 1 in 15 rule, because when remember my story about when I was at the Samsung booth and I showed them how to test, and this one woman, like, it blew her out of the water. But you know, she became my Facebook friend, and then I wrote to her and she never wrote back to me.
Yeah.
So that's just, you know, what happens. You know, that's what...
I can tell you a story I was telling Ross. I was at Starbucks and I was talking to this woman, and she, I bought her coffee for her because she's standing next to me, and the barista said something like, oh, that, you know, you're a big spender, and she said, oh, he just won $50 million in the lottery. And instead of like doing something with that, I said, you know, this is the acting. I didn't say anything like, oh yeah, Or, no, 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 I didn't do that. I just smiled and kind of zipped up my lip and kind of blushed a little bit and played along with it like I don't want to talk about it. So the barista really didn't know. And later I talked to her and she said, I didn't know, but I didn't want to say, no, you didn't. Anyway, so I was talking to this woman. I taught her how to test. And I was talking to her for quite a while in Starbucks. And I realized everybody around me was listening.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
It happened, I was at a party, at a dinner party. I talked to the woman next to me. And as soon as I was talking about say things that you want. Everybody's quiet, lend an ear like.
Right.
You know? So
That's what I find too.
In Starbucks, everybody's listening. I don't know if they were testing with me, but at one point I said, "Now, what's the name of that college that was really far out and left and experimental? It was in Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio." And I couldn't remember, and she couldn't either. And the guy behind me says, "Antioch." You know, he stepped in because he was right there with me. So I said, "Yeah, that's it." And then when I got up to leave, I didn't hear it, but I walked out with this woman who was very interesting herself. She said, the barista said, "That guy's worth $50 million."
That is funny.
And I really got it, you know, and what we're doing is a $50 million, you know, like that. It's
That's right.
Richard Branson, I was talking about Richard Branson. It's just as far out as his, you know, flying to the moon or whatever he wants to do.
We are learning to talk to people who will actually tip because what I'm seeing, Greg, you're doing about 100 times more than you were doing a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like you're actually doing things, and Anna, I wanted to say to you, that's your result.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're a role model for the rest of us, and you've been doing more, so Greg did more. You know, because you naturally relate to doing it, and it's easy for you. You don't have a lot of things in the way and struggles, and you know, my husband isn't approving of it and all this stuff people go through. You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it really isn't any big deal. When you stop to think about it, you go and you do something for 10 minutes, it's not a big deal. Or you tweet something and it's not a big deal. But it's such a big deal to, you know, it can be such a big, because people build it up in their minds. Like they turn it into this whole mental thing. And so I see forward progress for the CureTeam. And I'll share my story, which is Wednesday, I went back to talk to George, who's the Samsung representative at Best Buy here, who has been helping me set up my phone. And so there was a point where I taught him how to test. And I said, "Have you been doing that thing I showed everybody when you were here?" And he said he'd never tried it. And I said, "Okay." And he wanted to learn. He wanted to learn it. And he had his hands on the counter. He was ready to go. And I said, "You know, okay, just do this." And you ask, "Can I cure things?" And he froze. He went into like terror. And I didn't try to unswitch him or do anything more with it. Like, I didn't try to break him through. I think that's a huge mistake. I think it's a huge... People will break through. We don't have to break them through. They will break through. I think we need to make it worth their while to break through. That's what it is to be a salesman. You know, that's how you sell it. And, you know, one of the things I said to George is, "I don't get sick, I win." And boy, you should have seen his face change when I said that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a lot of the things that affect people are these one-liners. You know, like, let's face it, you can talk for half an hour, but they're going to remember one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, maybe nothing. They're going to remember one thing you said. So just say one thing and make it good. you know? And, you know, I didn't show him the community and the Twitter feed. What I did is I just went to my I have a little icon that I put on my desktop right here, and I clicked on it, and I showed him, you know, the college, and he immediately went on his phone and got the college, and he set a bookmark so we can go back to it. And I told him, see that movie? You do that, watch that, you'll learn, and it's 4.5 hours. And I would only do that if the person can go there right now and set a bookmark. I would never tell somebody to go to the web. Never, ever would I ever tell somebody to go to the web college. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he was there with a smartphone or a computer or whatever and could set a bookmark. And it'd have to be on his computer. He'd have to be able to go back there easily. He'd have to have made a mental note that he's got it now, or forget it. And I would not email it to somebody. I would not send him a Facebook message. Nothing. You know, otherwise I would just do what it says in the outline to do. So this was, anyway, I felt amazing because I only said things that really mattered. You know, like I kept telling him how people donated, like companies donated programs to this so that we could do this. That impressed him. I say things to people that impress them. And Greg, you created that because you're the one that got the companies to donate the programs so long ago. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I choose what I say to people. That's, you know, it's like, it reminds me of when we used to leave messages for each other on the phone. We would report to each other late at night.
Yeah.
You report to your supervisor. And it seemed like the phone always cut me off if I said anything negative. It just, the phone stopped. You know, so I had to keep everything, like, it's actually when I dropped my energy, which was kind of getting negative myself. If I keep presenting the real thing and not my dysfunction.
Right.
That the phone kept working. The same thing in the conversation. It's proactive, it's real, I'm connecting with the person there and where they are, what they're thinking about, or what they need.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
You know, I will say this. Had I not been in these meetings with you for these weeks, and also very possibly if Anna had not come along and inspired me, George probably would never have had that interaction with me where he was shown that he could cure things. It probably never would have happened for him. Just so you know, like, I wasn't doing it. Oh, and another thing, when I go out, the only shirt I ever wear is that t-shirt that says support the cult. It's the only shirt I wear when I go to Brandon or anywhere. It's the only thing I wear now. Because I realized, number one, people have to see it more than once. Two, if they're staring at it, it puts their mind into it. Like, it gets their mind into it. And, you know, three, I think Karen made a pretty big contribution last Monday when she said we should be wearing t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's absolutely right because it just frames it for people. You know? Like, I noticed, like, when Spielberg gets interviewed on television, he's usually wearing a t-shirt, often with a sport jacket over it. He likes t-shirts. So if it's good enough for Spielberg, it's good enough for me. Now, Barb, what did you learn from tweeting these tweets?
That I like to write. There's a lot to say. It's fun to read other people's things, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always accomplishing things every day. Or I guess I don't really always note them. Getting more clear about.
It's very important to note them. I wrote something yesterday. There's something I tweeted, and I don't. Did you notice what I said, that there's certain results, accomplishments, and so on? It's better to put them in writing.
Oh yeah, that was good. That's true.
It's better to write them. It makes them more solid and more real.
Yeah.
And that's why we're on Twitter. That's why we're tweeting. And Nell, what about you? What did you learn?
I like doing it.
You like doing it?
Yeah, I did. I think it's something we should keep on doing.
Yeah, okay. All right. And Ross, what about you? What did you learn?
I learned that I accomplished things. You know, I didn't used to think that they were accomplishments. I saw them just as things I did as a consequence of practicing Unix, but in fact they are accomplishments, especially the fact that these two brother-in-laws have been fighting for years, and they are not talking to each other. And I saw one on one side of the cemetery and the other on the other side. Yes, it was incredible. I mean, at the funeral of one of your brothers, don't you understand what life is all about? So I went to one of them and I told him, please, Franco, will you do me a big favor? And he told me, yes, of course I will. And I told him, will you come with me and shake hands with your brother? And he became, you know, like he froze. And I told him, please, I'm begging you. And then he told me, okay, I'll do it for you. And I took his hand and I went to the other one and I said, Giancarlo, look, Frank is here because he wants to shake your hand. And he was in a state of refusal. And I said, please. And I hugged him and kissed him. And I said, please, do it for me and for Roberto. And they did it.
Wow.
And it was great. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was very happy.
Did you?
Because it's so stupid.
Did you tweet that?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't notice the tweet, but I believe you anyway.
I read about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to read these tweets a little more closely later.
Yes, because and then also having these two families mixed together, and because we are one family. It's not my family, your family, somebody else's family. You know, it was very nice.
Well, I see us all as doing heroic acts over the last week. And like for you, that was one. And for Anna's, you know, like getting your husband on your side is one. And
I love that one, but what I wrote.
yeah, it's all, you know, we're a bunch of heroic people. And we're people who, the kind of powerful people who can tip Cure into global consciousness these people will respect us, where other people may not. Lesser people may not respect us, because lesser people can't appreciate what you are doing the way somebody who's really powerful, like Colin Powell or Jim Collins, they can appreciate you. Those are the kind of people who see you as having substance. They can spot that. So who's typing now?
I'm on mute because I've got a vacuum right outside the door here.
Barb?
The usual vacuum, Greg.
You're
This time on Fridays, yes.
so Barb, do you have voice recognition?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, pick up your smartphone, open your Twitter app, and see if there's a little microphone there. Like where you go to tweet, go into tweet and get the keyboard up and see if on the bottom left there's a microphone. There'd be a little microphone on the bottom left. Yes, it there? Do you see it?
Just the keyboard.
Yeah, you know, go on like you're going to type a tweet. And there's the keyboard, and at the bottom left of the keyboard there'd be a little microphone icon.
I don't see one.
I see it. I see it on mine. It's next to the space bar. Oops, on mine.
I see a little camera.
No, in Twitter you're talking about, right, Bart?
I'm on this now. I'm on an iPod Touch. I can on my phone.
Oh, you can't use your iPod Touch for that. It doesn't have voice recognition for Twitter.
I'll try my phone.
So use your phone. Go on your phone. Go into Twitter.
Twitter.
Have you downloaded Twitter to your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, go into Twitter. Go like you're going to make a tweet. And look for the little microphone.
Okay. I see. Wish I could show you. I see a little, like a little arrow thing, and then a camera, and a. Oh yeah, I see it on the keyboard. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, tap it.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Speak now.
Tap it.
Forever,
And talk. And go ahead,
hello,
talk.
hello.
And then tap the thing to turn it off, and you'll see that it... Is it typing what you said?
Yep.
You see it? Okay, so don't type anymore.
Okay.
Don't type your tweets, just stop. I just want to say this to everybody. Stop. If you have voice recognition, do not type your tweets. Stop typing your tweets. Learn to speak your tweets. Train yourself to speak them. Because you need to get rid of your slowness. Speed yourself up. Okay, we need a fast team, not a slow team. So get rid of your slowness. You with me? Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yes. I do that as much as I can. Makes it possible. Yeah.
Did you see the message I wrote to you today, Greg?
Yes, on a message online on the smartphone. Yeah.
And you notice at the end of the message I said that I actually I spoke that message and it typed it for me while I was jogging.
Jogging, right, through the wildlife area.
That's right.
And you sent a copy to Fran, and Fran answered. I saw this come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walk through the supermarket and tweet, and I speak my tweets.
I can do it. Of course, I have to use the data. I have to use the internet on the phone, but I can do it.
You will never use up your data, Greg.
Yeah, not for that, not for text.
You will never use up your data. You can watch movies, just use as much data as you want. You're not going to use it up. So far this month, you have used, I'll tell you in 2 seconds, you have used in this month a little more than half a gig. All of us. That's all of us. And the month is going to be over very quickly. And you have 6 gigs. You have this gigantic area.
Started on May 21st, so that's not too long.
You're not using your data.
I know.
So use your data when you're out. Tweet. Watch the movies. Like stay current. Like, don't wait till you get home to do things.
Yeah, Yes.
Speed up. Go faster. Speed yourselves up. Do whatever you can to speed yourselves up. So Anna,
Yeah.
got any issues with anybody?
Not really.
Is there somebody? Oh, Keith. You want to help Keith get going. And where is he now? How's he doing?
I talked to him yesterday on the phone, and I asked him if he wanted to do some Skyping, and he said that he does better if he works on his own and tries, but he's been doing removals of traumas, I think.
Mm-hmm.
His signal's not really clear. He says that he has to get very quiet and relaxed, and he can feel something in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him to work on developing the signal so it's more reliable, so that he can use it any time.
Did he get a password?
No.
How can he?
Doesn't. No, he didn't get
How can he be removing trauma?
Well, I told him how to do it.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
There's a couple of things that I want to tell you about that.
Okay.
Well, okay, just to start, number one, when you have a person who becomes a member and you continue like mentoring them, Greg will send you half of whatever they donate.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Now usually that's like, $24 a month or something. Really, as a minister, if you're going to have a substantial income as a minister, your income is going to come from two places. So note this well, because you're talking to somebody who knows how this works, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've studied ministry, okay? And, I put time into that. Number one, it usually comes from a very small number of donors. Like in any church that's out there, unless it's a very rich congregation, like the repairs on the church, the money to run the church comes from around 5% of the congregation, okay, who are often directors in the church, number one. I don't know, do you belong to a church?
Not currently, but I have.
So you probably know that anyway, because you knew that about the church,
Mm-hmm.
Like you put your $2 in the collection plate every Sunday, but this other guy paid for the bell to get repaired when it broke, remember? So, he put up the $10,000 that it cost. So that's how churches work, number one. The other thing is from coaching. Like from people paying you $6,300 for 3 months to coach them. And if you have 3 of those, then you have $6,300 a month that that's your income, and that's probably, that would probably do for you given your lifestyle. So you don't have to have a lot of coaching clients. I don't know if you're actually ready to coach people, and I'll tell you why. Now see, if you got a coaching client, I would do it with you and I would train you so you could actually become a coach. But you'd need training, But there was like this thing that you told me about. I guess it was Keith, and you were saying that he couldn't get a signal, and you told him it was probably demonic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what you told him to do about that, if anything. Did you tell him what to do about it?
I told him to remove that. That's what I saw, that there were 3 demons there, and to remove them. And I also removed them. And
how would he do that? How did you tell him to do that?
By doing removals, and we were just talking in email at that point.
So see, here's this guy who can't get a signal, and you're telling him to do removals, so obviously you don't know how to coach people. Okay, bingo, right there.
Yeah.
Number 1, 2, you found demons, so you decided that was the thing that was doing it. Also, huge mistake, because there's about 10 million things that can interfere with somebody getting signals. And one way of switching people is what? Pop quiz, Anna, right now.
Have them say what they want.
Have them say, so at least you knew that. And
Yeah.
you notice you knew that, but you didn't do what you knew. You did something else with the demon thing. So you have bad reflexes, so that also makes you incompetent, right? You getting the picture here?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things you're going to have to train yourself to do what you know, and to do it very, very well, and not try to like get fancy. You with me?
Yeah.
Like just take this thing you know how to do and do that.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, back off or something. No fancy stuff. Okay? Till you really learn the next thing. But the guy who you're training, he can come up with things and you can do them. That if he comes up with it, do it. Which is another thing, like don't come up with things for people generally. Like come up with very few things for people.
Okay.
Like one of them is test through the hub is a good thing to come up with. Then he'll come up with things from the hub. Get it?
Right.
Okay. So anyway, this is the whole thing of income with being a minister. Now, moving on from that to Jesse. Not Jesse. Keith.
That's Cliff.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Cliff. Okay. Wow. Cliff. Here's what Cliff needs to do. Okay? Cliff needs to join the web college, train himself to get signals, and come to the meetings whether he's getting signals or not. And possibly hire a competent coach, not you. That's what he needs to do. Okay? And all this other stuff you're doing with him, it's just, not, industrial grade.
He has one of the drawbacks that he may never join the college is he has a belief, I guess you could say, that people shouldn't pay for things that are.
You know what? There's two things to do with him, with his belief and with him and all that. You have two options, and I think you should do both of them. Number one, you should just dump him and forget the whole thing. He can't do it. He's just too stuck. Two, you should tell him, okay, you've got this belief, but you still have to do these things. That's it. It's over. I mean, that's the conversation.
Yeah.
He's seen it. He's learned it. He has enough experience with it. He fucking knows it's real. Get it? Does he know it's real?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting signals. It's in his heart and all this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
He knows it's real. Okay, it's time to contribute now. It's time for him to give us some money. That's the right thing. It's time to pay for it now. See, he was given something. Now it's time to grow up and be an adult and say, hey, you gave this to me. I want to give you something. Here's $1,000. You with me?
Yeah.
Say what you're thinking.
I agree totally.
Yeah, okay. So, get beyond it, because, see, you agree, and it's also good for him to do all those, that's what he needs to do. He's just not going to get well if he stays a baby. Do not enable people to be children. Okay, we got to go to the next demand, the next demand, the next demand, the next demand. You know, Bill Pelly used to say, it's never enough, you always want something else. Goddamn right I do. You know, and Bill Pelly just wasn't, you know, like a real good person for me to be, you know, hanging around with. And because he just didn't want to take the next step or do the next thing. He was in a comfort zone. That's where he lives. You know, the last time I talked to him, he was saying he wants to, like, go to a retirement home somewhere in northern Pennsylvania. And it was just like, what? You know? It's just all really low energy.
Yeah.
Not something I want, you know, for like a friend or somebody I want in my life, you know. And yet Bill Pelly is amazing. And that's the thing about these people are amazing. Cliff is amazing. He gets signals in his heart. It's a miracle. It's amazing. And I respect that. And we should all respect that. You know? But that does not mean we need to get stuck in it because we respect it. We do not have to get stuck in it. They grow up or they ship out.
Right.
You got to get another one. You know, that's why you go out in the street and hand out bumper stickers or put comments on movies. Our main thrust needs to be reaching out to people who we don't know. Because you saw it. You saw it when you went out and handed out bumper stickers, right? 10 people rejected. Right?
That's right.
Well, Anna, how many people do we know intimately? Maybe 10 people, right?
Right.
So it's very likely that all 10 people that we know intimately are going to reject it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So what do we need to do?
Reach out.
Yeah, we need to find somebody who we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to lay it out for him. Yeah?
I just want to ask one thing. Is Cliff, what's his name, wasn't Keith, or are they two different people?
It's Cliff I think we're talking about.
Oh, but you never talked about anybody named Keith?
No.
Oh, okay, I just misunderstood.
Well, we can't have you misunderstanding these things.
Well, I'm also taking notes on the meeting for my records, you know, but I just didn't understand if we were talking about the same person or two different people, and I remember Cliff from the call, but
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking
from
about.
the call.
Mm-hmm.
or from how he wasn't in the call, but why with everything Bard's saying, you know, it's just it's hard to accept that sometimes, but yeah.
You know, I'm looking at the outline of introduction here. And I'm thinking about my own interaction with George when I spoke to him a couple of days ago. And I'm realizing that, could I
Hello?
Could I play a role with you? I want to play a role. I want to be my next door neighbor. No, wait a minute. I'll tell you what. Anna, I want you to channel my next door neighbor, but I want you to channel somebody who's very much like my next door neighbor, a person with a very serious disease. In this case, it's Crohn's disease. The ambulance picked him up the other day. You know, he gets into real attacks and seizures. Okay, can you do that?
Okay.
So I want you to channel somebody like that. And it's somebody who you know from, you know, around where you live or whatever, somebody who, you know, you have a nodding acquaintance with and who you want to help. And I'm going to be you.
All right.
Okay? But really what I'm trying to do by being you is I'm trying to prep myself to talk to my next door neighbor.
Okay.
Okay? So and what happens is that we've said, we keep saying we're going to meet and we're going to do something with this, and try to cure it. And so I knock on, I'm you, and I come over in the morning and I knock, and you're this person. Make up a name.
Okay, Sarah.
You're Sarah, and I knock on your door and I come in and we sit down and we're talking. Okay.
All right.
So maybe we're out back, with the trees or whatever, because I know you live in Grass Valley, really beautiful there. So we're outside. Okay.
All right.
And okay, look, one thing I got to tell you is that if you want to do this, like if you actually want to cure this, you're going to have to spend all your time curing this.
Really?
You won't have any time to do anything else other than you can do other things while you're curing it. But you have to be curing it while you're doing them, and this has to be like number one in your life. Like everything else is like 8 furlongs behind. Your kids are going to visit 8 furlongs behind that in importance. Like when these kids come, you got to tell them like I'm curing this Crohn's disease, and so like it just takes all my energy and time. So it's great to have you here. Support me in curing it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how do I do it?
Well, because let me just say these things to you first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't think you can do that, then you're going to be stuck with this medical treatment, and you can see with the medical treatment what it's doing for you, right?
Yeah, I don't feel very well.
Yeah, right. So that's another thing. You may have to discontinue the medical treatment or aspects of it. I'm just saying this because I don't want to get started with this. This is going to be a huge amount of work. I don't want you to enter into it with a lot of false ideas. It's not a virtual reality, okay? This is going to be reality. Like it's not a new age. It's not a new age meditation. It's not this nice new age, inspirational thought, okay?
Yeah, I see.
So,
well, it's worth a try.
Okay. So let me tell you something. Cut. I'm going to. By the way, I'm assuming that you've already gotten a signal, and you already got the good feeling. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're past. We did part 1. We're in part 2 right now of the outline. If you want to look at the outline of introduction. Everybody do this. Go to the outline of introduction just to refresh your memory about what's there. This is part 2. And I wrote this little story, Anna, that you've never heard. It's about a guy named Nate who tips Cure into global consciousness.
Uh-huh.
And this is based on that story, especially about the ending of the story. Like this outline of introduction is what he actually does when he sees Jane Fonda at a resort where he's living.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you on the outline of introduction now?
No, I'm still trying to find it.
Greg, are you there?
I'm getting to your page. I'm just loading Facebook.
Franny, are you there? Barb, are you on the outline of
I'm
introduction?
trying to find it. It's down on the list here somewhere.
Yeah, it's down your wall, right?
It's a Facebook note. Go into my notes in Facebook.
Okay.
Guys, it's a Facebook. Don't try to find it on my wall. It's a Facebook note. Just look in my notes.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you.
Trying to find me on Facebook, right?
Yeah, it came up with a different friend this time.
All right, Anna, I'm going to go back to the role play, okay?
Okay.
We are, let me just explain to you, people have cured cancer and all kinds of diseases, including Crohn's disease, with what you just did just now. Except with Crohn's disease, I don't know how far they got, but I saw them cured, I saw them feel different, I saw the symptoms disappear, but I don't know what they really accomplished, because I didn't follow up on them. Now, you have just joined, by doing what you did, you've just joined a cult.
Really?
Yeah. The way you join the cult is to get a signal and a good feeling.
Okay.
And then you're a member. Get it?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to church and talk to your minister about this, he's going to tell you that you're tapping into satanic powers and that you're going to hell for curing your Crohn's disease. So what are you going to do then? Like, what are you going to do when you show up at church and your minister says, hey, you're looking better, what's going on, you know? And you say, oh, I joined this cult and I'm curing this myself. And, oh, how do you do that? And you show him and he goes, oh, you're tapping into satanic powers and the devil is seducing you into hell. What are you going to do?
Probably head out of there and keep working on myself.
Or are you going to say, oh, okay, I'll stop curing it?
Not me, I'm not going to give up.
Okay. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, so here, let me just show you on my smartphone. This is the cult, this Twitter feed. And you want to join this and get your smartphone, join this, follow this Twitter group. You know, subscribe to the A-list now and get on it, and now and talk to these people. These are your new best friends.
Okay.
Now, question, how can you support this?
Well, maybe I could try joining the college like you've been telling me.
Okay.
For this period of time. I could give it a trial and see what I can learn from it.
Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. Remember what I told you how it's going to take all your time, you may have to stop your medical treatment and so on?
Yeah, you did.
This is not a trial. You're not trying anything. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You are taking your life in your hands doing this. You want to stop medical treatment?
Not really.
Yeah, right. I mean, you are taking... That's why I'm going over and over and over this with you, because I want out now. If you can't handle this, if you don't have the stomach for it, because in the middle of the night you're going to get the most serious Crohn's disease attack you ever got in your life, and you're going to have to remember what to do. I'm not going to be there. Don't come knocking on my door. You're going to have to handle it. This is and these people, this is your training. You got to have to do this for yourself. And it's going to have to work. And if it doesn't work, you're going to have to do better. Or find the other thing that you have to do. Or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you could die. You could die. Now, that being said, what do you want to do?
I'm going to join up.
Okay, so not trying it, right?
Yeah.
No, you want to experiment with your life? Don't you think that's a little silly to have an experiment? Oh, I think I'll try putting my life on the line.
Yeah, I think I better just take this step.
Wouldn't that be crazy to try it? You know, try it. Don't try things, okay? This better work.
Yeah.
Because, you know, frankly, you know, looking at you, the medical treatment is not working. You know, and I know you go to the doctor scratches his head and he says, well, hey, this is the best we got, you know, and, you know, it's a hard disease, and so they give you all the excuses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so no excuses here. There's no excuses here. Well, see, another thing is, I'm not sure you can cure this disease with this. Maybe people cure cancer with this, but not this. There might be diseases that are not curable. What do I know?
But I gotta try.
Okay.
Oh, there I go again.
Yeah, see, that's
Gotta do it.
Test, is that one of my symptoms, saying that?
Yeah, that's one of my symptoms, I think.
Okay.
I got signal.
Okay. So when you find yourself saying that, that means that you're immunologically insufficient. One thing you could try is you could right now just say, I'm bringing myself up to full immunological sufficiency.
Okay. I'm bringing myself up to full immunological sufficiency. Okay, I got a signal.
Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I feel kind of more peaceful.
Okay, well, now that you've joined this Twitter group, here's a little contribution, a little tiny contribution you can make. Just tweet that right now.
Okay.
So that I'm going to click, I'm following you now, so I'll get your tweet, and so will all your friends who follow you on Twitter, and also make that go through to your Facebook wall so your Facebook friends see it. And that's a little contribution that you can make. Now, what about when your friends on Facebook attack you or say they feel sorry for you because you're doing this stupid thing and you're going to get sick and die?
Yeah, what am I going to do? Well,
What are you going to do? Don't know, huh?
no.
Come on, make something up.
Okay, I'm gonna just tell him you should stand in my shoes for a while, and I'm gonna go forward with what I believe.
You know what? That's good. And another thing, what you're doing here is good because what you need to do is actually dialogue with them. You know? Like enter into the dialogue with them. That's what they're doing. They're starting a dialogue. And have the dialogue.
Okay.
All these dialogues help you cure things. I mean, you don't have to go overboard with it and spend all your time talking to negative people or something, but, you know, a little dialoguing with somebody who's a little negative never hurt anything, especially if they're well-meaning, you know?
Right.
You know, it's good to dialogue with people. That's how you learn.
That's how I heal too, right?
You can heal that way. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Cut. What was it like to be him?
Well, you could see the evolution, you know, from being unsure and wavering, and you kind of walked me through all the different situations I could face, and gave me ideas of how I would handle those when they came up. They're almost like providing the remedies.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you do in this situation, in that situation, and brought it out of me what I would do also.
You know, the thing about, I'll tell you what, the thing about helping people is they have to take their steps, and you have to be very suspicious that they're not. And when you think they're not, you got to keep asking them question after question after question to find out if they are or not. And if they're not, then like if that's stop right there. Just stop. Everything stops. Or they say, listen, I just want to do this for myself, and I don't really want to meet your demands or take my steps or whatever it is. And fine, whatever. They can do it for themselves. We gave it to them. It's there. It's on the web. You are not abandoning them. You gave it to them.
Right.
The movies are there. It's free. They don't have to pay anything. They can watch the movies. You know, Cliff can watch the movies. There's 600 movies he can watch. The help is there. So you don't have to feel like you're abandoning this poor guy, you know, who actually got a signal. He just had this little problem. He had this belief, and so you should spend more of your time. You do not have to spend any time whatsoever with him. Nothing. Find somebody else who will meet the demands, who will take their steps. Find the right people. The people who can do it and will do it. Find those people. Do not spend time on these other people. Find the right people.
Okay.
And see the difference when somebody is in a virtual reality and they say, well, I am doing it, and the way I'm doing it is a good way to do it, and I'm curing this. It's wonderful. Great, you know. And you look at the person and you say, and you could say it to them. You could say, look, you are in a virtual reality. You are living in a virtual reality. You want the appearance of curing things without curing them. A lot of people want that. They want to feel as though they're doing something for themselves, but they don't actually want to do anything.
Yeah.
You got to know the difference and just get out of there. Before that, you know, that IUD goes off. We vacate them. You heard the click, now vacate the premises, you know? You with me, Anna?
Okay.
Barb, you with me? Okay, good.
All right. Well, that's really good information, because I'm gonna I'll try again and see if I can really hold him to taking responsibility.
By the way, speaking of which, Greg, did you ever call Amal?
I called, I did not get an answer. I just
Did you leave a message?
Just said join us again. Here's my number.
Yeah, okay, so you did leave a message.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. I just wanted, you know, he called me. We're responsible for getting back to him. We do have responsibilities. When people call us, we're responsible for getting back to them. There are certain things we're supposed to do. We need to do those things, or we're remiss. And I do not want to be remiss. I want to do everything I'm supposed to do. God expects it of me. And I work for God. And Ross, I want to say to you that when you asked those brothers to shake hands, that you were working for God.
Yeah.
That's what it is to be a minister, and I thank you for doing it. Thanks for being wonderful, Ross. Thanks for being heroic.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's an honor to know you.
Thank you.
You are a role model for all of us.
Yeah.
In a really big way. You know, like you face things that stop people and you don't stop. I'm just so proud of you. You know, it's like you show people what Immunix can do for somebody. You know, like how a person can cure things and go through their life as a well person.
I think I've been very lucky in meeting Immunix and all of you.
Well, you manifested.
You're darn right you're lucky.
At this point in your life, probably luck has not much to do with it.
But you know something, that's right, Barb. See, what Barb is saying is really right on, because it's not luck. You know, you attracted us. It's the law of attraction.
Yeah, you're right.
You
Yeah.
have what you're supposed to have. So now, I want everybody, I'm going to stop the meeting and turn the camera off. I want all of you for the next, and I'm going to stay on with you on Skype. I want you to tweet what you got, what you learned from this meeting, this interaction we had. So that will be your next tweets in the next 10 minutes. Here you see the home page of CureDrive.org, which is the Cure College on the web that we have put here for you to come learn how to cure medically incurable diseases. Now, at the top of the page, the home page, which you should be on right here, and I want to recommend, if you have not already, get to this page by opening a tab. Do not turn this movie off. Open a tab so that you can still hear me talking. And leave this tab open and then go to this website. Now the tally that you see, 132K, people ask, where does that come from? And if you notice, right above it, and this is, by the way, on every page in the web college, it says Report Cure. If I click on that, it goes to a page where there's a little form to fill out where you can report your cures. Now I will press the incredible back button and go back to the home page of CureDrive.org. And also, if you want to contact us, there's a little link here that says Contact. And you'll notice that we put our phone numbers in here. We feel more comfortable being called on the phone. So it's just easier to talk, and this is a very big subject, and we find that it saves us time and work if people call us. Now we document our cures. This movie that you're watching here is an example of that. This is a movie where people cure things on camera, and you watch them. You watch them curing things. For example, the woman here, and at this point in the movie, is curing a flu. And if you watch this movie, you'll discover that she comes in with fully developed flu symptoms, including headache and God knows what else, and the symptoms disappear in around 20 minutes. That's how fast this is. Personally, I have not had a flu even try to come on since 1993, when I cured my herpes. My 20th anniversary, by the way, just passed. 20th anniversary of my herpes cure in April of 2013. Okay, if you look again above the CureDrive, logo, I guess it is, and what you'll see is the Cure Show. There's a link to go to the Cure Show. And the Cure Shows are another way that we documented our cures. And for example, you'll find letters at the top of the Cure Show, and if you click the letter F, it takes you to fibromyalgia, where you see a lot of, or two people curing fibromyalgia actually. And underneath it, there are many, many shows on flu. We had a flu hotline. And what you'll find with this is that people with similar conditions get parallel results. Like these people who cured their flu, or I don't think we ever had a person come in to cure the flu that, you know, was just getting it. You know, they all had it for a couple of days. There they are. And they, you hear their flu cure during the call in around 20 minutes. So there are about 100 diseases represented on this page. Acid reflux, abuse, There are, conditions can be considered diseases also. Oh, such as traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the World Trade Center attack. A woman actually cured her traumatic stress syndrome from that. So now if we're back on the home page again, and up here at the top it says Login Hub or sign up. If you don't have a password, you can sign up, or you can log in, and you come to the hub of the Cure College. This is the hub, not the home page. And new people who come here, many people just come in and get a password right away. They instantly get a password and come in, and they say, "What is this?" It's gigantic. Over here, this is the basic skill. Skill 1 is cure physical diseases. And it has 10 applications. Remove viruses, cure cancer, end trauma, recode your DNA. With certain diseases, you must recode your DNA to cure the disease. This may be true, for example, of viral-based diseases such as herpes simplex, Epstein-Barr, and so on. And each one has 2 links underneath it. Now if I click on where it says lessons under Recode Your DNA, and these are the lessons. There's this huge page of lessons on recoding DNA. And one of the lessons is remove adverse DNA mutations you catch from other people. Bet you didn't know you were doing that. But you do, and here's the lesson on that, and then you scroll down and there's all these questions. That's how the lessons work. You probably, if this is the first movie you've ever watched, you are probably not ready for a password right now. But you should probably know this is here at the same time, and some things about it. For example, here's an application of Skill 1, which is, what is Skill 1, do you recall? Cure physical diseases, right? And it's called the safety web. See it? Right here, the safety web. If I click on that, what I come to is a page of lessons about, and there's quite a few lessons on this page, about the safety web. Now basically, it's very simple. God isn't going to let you fail. A woman asked me, I was telling her to remove all bacteria from her physical body. And she said, well, if I remove all bacteria from my physical body, will I remove my beneficial intestinal bacteria? And I said, no. You're not going to remove your beneficial intestinal bacteria. You're going to, God won't let you do that. You're safe. However, there's more to the safety web than that. So you'd want to know about the safety web. Also, there's an application called Knowingness is Power. Most people ignore it. The reason it's here is because knowingness is curative. A lot of times things that you cure happen just because you know something. Now, curing physical diseases is the lowest level of study in this web college. For example, here, which is in the mid-level, there's a skill called 3 spiritual diseases. Do you see it? That's only skill 9. There are 12 skills. So another one is about function. Reinstall your functions. Another one is about reclaiming your immune system so that you can be immune to these things and you won't have to cure cancer or herpes. You won't not get it. As I said before, have not had a flu in 20 years. I haven't had a flu even try to come on in the last 20 years. Okay. If you're not ready for a password yet, And by the way, when you're new, you're probably better off with one of these options. These are the best options for new people, which are next to the movie. And that's when you know you want to start and you're ready. You're ready. You've like learned it and you understand how to do it. What you probably want to start getting a signal first. And if you notice under this movie, you should start getting a signal when you watch during this movie, which is now 4.5 hours, and there's many illustrations of people getting signals, so hopefully you'll pick it up while you're doing that. But if not, there's an entire page of signals, including a movie that plays automatically at the top, which is a very good lesson with a lot of very serious people getting signals as the movie goes along, and illustrating how they get signals. And then there are all these other movies about signals as you go down the page. This little tripod is wandering. I'm trying to hold this with my hand while I show this to you. So now, that's an example of some of the other things that are on here. This is our Twitter feed, this black thing, so that you can see what advanced people, because everybody who posts on this has been doing it for a while and, are curing things. A lot of these people have already cured their herpes or their other thing that they came to cure, their chronic fatigue syndrome and so on, and now they're, this is just some things I cooked. It's not about cooking, okay? But anyway, there's lots of people just talking about what they're the more advanced things that they're doing, and these are all people who've cured many things in the past, and probably never get the flu, as I don't. None of us ever get the flu anymore. We don't get sick in that way. That's pretty basic, not getting the flu. So if you're not ready for a password, the thing to do is just keep watching movies. And let me show you something about that. There are lots of movies to watch. Here's one that says I cured it in 10 minutes, and lots of people are interested in this. This is a popular movie. This woman is very experienced with this. She's been doing it about 15 years. And but see, if you go down on this movie to here where it says YouTube, and let's click on this. Let's go to the YouTube page, which is the same movie. See, you're on the same movie now. And right underneath it, there's something that says, let me just show this to you. Cure Drive is the account that the movie is in. And you see it says it has 352 videos. So the thing to do is to click on that and go in to the Cure Drive account with the 352 movies. And then, once you're there, subscribe to the account so that you can get back to it easily. And then there are other accounts too. This is not the only account. Some of them only have 25 movies. There's about 10 different accounts. But there's another one that has 250 something movies on it. This is deceptively simple and easy. As you watch these people in these movies, the cure is always instantaneous. And it gives the impression that it's over and you don't have to continue. You don't have to study. And then you get sick again because you didn't get deep enough and get everything. With that being said, I want to show you these women curing something instantly and leave you with the thought that it's probably not going to be what you expected it to be. I think when you watch these women, that's what you see here, that it's probably not going to be what you expected it to be, but it does cure, it probably will if you hang in there and stick with it. You probably will cure the thing you came to cure. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes, I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay,
Okay.
both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too.
No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension.
I feel clear.
I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension.
Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.